Hey guys, this is the Great Jedi and welcome back to the channel. Now before we get into the video, I just want to ask you guys to please subscribe, like, comment, and hit the notifications bell down below if you like this type of content. Anyways, let's get into the video. Now to start off the video, I wanted to give a quick shout out to the follower because he commented on my last tips and tricks video. And if you guys didn't know, I did say in the video and in the description box to share your own tips so that other people can learn, and if you learned anything, put it in the comments down below. And he said, thanks for making the video, it definitely helped, thanks. Pairing helped me a lot. One tip I learned while playing the game is that each hero is unique and have different swing speeds and lightsaber damage. So the reason why I picked his comment was because one, he was the only one that commented anything like that, and two, he got a lot of thumbs up and a lot of people learned from that. So I just wanted to let you guys know. Same thing with this video. Comment down below what you guys learned or what you liked about it. Let's say you didn't learn anything. But also comment down below the tips you have learned from playing this game. Now welcome to our first Hero Tips and Tricks video. This is part 1. The first tip I have for you guys has to do with Yoda and his unleashed ability, which is his left ability. So if you're on PlayStation, that would be L1. And basically there's a few things that go in combination with it other than just force pushing. For example, he can actually build up more power as he blocks. So let's say you're holding the block button and you're getting a bunch of fire into your hands, right? You'll see a little blue bar charge up around that ability. And the more you see it grow, you could just force push it right back at them, as well as them being pushed. So it basically does more damage, and it also increases the distance of it. So if you're hating Yoda's force push because it's only going so far, it's only so little, try charging it up by blocking first. Block all the blaster bolts and then force push it. Not only does it give you a bigger radius, it also gives you like more damage output. So I just thought I should share that because I see a lot of people just not block before they use the ability and they just force push. And it doesn't even kill a lot of them, you know? So that way you can get more multi-kills that way. Not only that, when he does that, it works with force powers. So when he's getting blaster bolts, right, you see the blue build up. But once the fire starts going down, no one's shooting at you, the blue bar will go straight down and you lose that extra damage. But with force powers, it actually stays there and you can stop blocking and it will stay there. So let's say Darth Vader's force choke. If he blocks and Darth Vader uses the force choke, you'll see the blue bar just kind of line up and start to go, and it doesn't go away. Even if you don't block or use the ability, it'll just save up. Same thing with Darth Maul's chokehold. Same thing with Count Dooku's lightning. You have Emperor Palpatine's lightning. Basically any force ability in the game. And then he can just store that up, and then whenever you want, let's say you don't want to block and you just want to force push him, you can do that, and it stores all that blue force in it. And then another cool trick about that, this is more of a visual thing, but when Count Dooku uses his left lightning ability on you, and if you're blocking, if you force push right away, right back at him, you can not only force push him back, but also throw his lightning back at him. That's just more of a visual effect rather than like damage output, because even if you wait a while and you don't want to use it right then, you still have the extra damage. It just won't show up as that like cool effect like he did in episode 2 for Attack of the Clones. The second tip, it has to do with Palpatine and his lightning. I see a lot of people press the trigger button to activate his lightning, and they're only using one hand because the right trigger activates his right hand and the left trigger activates his left hand. So basically for PlayStation you have L2 and then R2 and they both attack. I see only people do one hand. I don't know if that's because they just don't know, because I know in the last game you could actually block with Palpatine and then you can also attack using those two buttons. But in this game he doesn't have a block. He can just dodge and then use his force lightning. So the left trigger is his left hand, right trigger is right hand. So
basically you can use both hands and double your damage. That's the best way to play Palpatine. Yes, it does take double your stamina versus just the one hand, but as you can see by the footage, it does not kill them fast enough. You'll be dead by the time you can finish them off with the one hand. Because Palpatine, it doesn't take a long time for him to get his stamina back. You just dash a couple times, it's already back again. So I recommend just using the two-hand lightning, the L2 and the right R2 button, and then recover your stamina when you need it. Now the third tip I have for you guys has to do with Phasma and her turret. So basically earlier on in the game, so if you guys are veterans, you may know that in order for her to re-put her turret in a different place, she'd have to blow it up and let the ability charge up again. Well, a few updates ago, they actually made it where she could pick up her turret just like the officer can. So that's really handy. So she can just go up to it, hold the interact button, go where she needs to go in combat, put it down, and then rinse and repeat whenever she needs it. And that's a huge tip when you're trying to move and not just stay in one spot. Now the next thing I have for you guys has to do with Luke Skywalker and his jump distance. So basically, if you hold down the X button, you can judge to see how far his jump would go. But if you use his left ability with his jumping, he can like do a double jump. He can jump like twice as high. So, but you have to use it at the peak of the jump. So you'll get used to it once you start practicing with it. But you can jump and then force push, and then you kind of like go even up higher. And you can see by the footage how useful that can be. You can get to flank routes, and it can be really effective in certain areas. Like if you need to get the high ground for some reason, then you can do that. You know, so that's a pretty good tip to know. Okay, now moving back to Yoda and his presence ability. Which is his middle ability. So if you're on PlayStation, that's L1 and R1. It can get him out of dangerous situations. And what I mean by that is usually those effects like force powers that make you freeze or immobilized for some reason. You can get out of it. So for example, you have Darth Vader using his force choke. He can get out of it. So let's say he's being choked right now. You activate that middle ability, and then he just drops. No more damage. Same thing with Maul's choke. You have Kylo Ren's freeze. Any immobilizing effect, he can get out of. And using that, he can actually, using his combination for abilities, he can like fly. And I'm not saying like fly like Boba Fett, but he can jump farther than any other hero, basically. Even farther than Luke with his double jump. If you use his abilities in combination. You can see by the footage, if you dash like off a cliff, use your middle ability, dash again, use your unleashed ability, and then dash again, you can go pretty far. And you can see by the footage that Wookiee just looked and was like, oh my gosh. Like he was shocked. You could just tell. He was just looking like, how did you do that? So you can really catch a lot of people off guard, and that's a good tip to know on certain maps like Camino or Kashyyyk, especially Kashyyyk, because going from roof to roof, people won't expect it. Now this next tip, like moving away from Yoda, has to do with every hero and every villain. Because I see a lot of new players that are heroes that are trying to help and play the objective or get in a turret and stuff. And I really do appreciate people who can play the objective, especially if you guys are on my live streams. You guys know how much I like playing the objective. But when you're a hero, most of the time, you can't really help play the objective. For example, especially in Galactic Assault, when you have to pick up ion cannons to take out the MCT, like on Naboo, you can't pick it up. Only infantry can do that. What you can do to help the objective is defend the infantry that are trying to pick it up. So you can see by the footage, I'm trying to block and help this guy shoot it. He's not shooting it, I'm not sure why, he keeps on swapping weapons, but that's how you can help your team when you're a hero. And you can't get into turrets or any other like guns that you see around the map. That's only for infantry. Heroes cannot get in that. So I hope that helps you guys in not trying to get frustrated trying to pick up the ion cannon. For our next tip, we have some characters that can actually bypass some of the animations. And the bad thing about a lot of the animations is that they leave you vulnerable. Like, you'll do the animation, but you're getting shot at and then you die. So bypassing them is a pretty good tip. And there are some characters that can do that. Specifically, Vader and Yoda. Usually their middle abilities can be skipped using certain combinations. So if you are in the middle of a dash, Yoda's right ability, like if you dash in the middle of your dash and you activate the middle ability, you can actually bypass that animation and heal yourself and everybody around you. Same thing with Vader. Instead of just activating focused rage and then you get that bonus health, you can swing and also activate focused rage and then you heal yourself. So it just bypasses all that headache. So you can still be attacking and you get the bonus for that ability. So that's a really good tip. You'll catch people off guard. They'll wait for you to heal yourself and then shoot you. So that's a good way to get them off guard. If you're having trouble getting that skipping animation with Vader when you swing, just press the L1, R1, and the R2 button all at the same time. So use your 3 fingers and then hit them all at the same time, and then it'll work. Okay, so moving on to the crosshairs when you're a hero or a lightsaber hero or villain. If you see, like, you just see the white dot, that's like your crosshair. If you see a yellow circle around that, that lets you know that you are actually doing more damage than you normally are. So you might see it with Kylo Ren, and you might be wondering, wait, when does Kylo Ren deal more damage? Well, there's a star card that allows you to do extra damage after 6 seconds of Frenzy. So once you use Frenzy, you'll see after those 6 seconds after that, you'll have that yellow circle letting you know you can do more damage. Same thing with Rey, Darth Vader when he has his Focus Rage ability active, Count Dooku when he has his Duelist ability active. And what's so cool about Dooku is that he can like do tons of damage at one time. You have his right ability, which is Exposed Weakness, and you have Duelist, you know, and then just easily dash behind them because he has 3 dashes, and then just wipe them out. So it's good to be aware of when you're doing more damage or your base damage, because when you're doing more damage, you're more lethal and you can take out more enemies. Now our last tip for the video, last but definitely not least, has to do with Yoda. We're going to start with Yoda and finish with Yoda. His right ability, his dash ability, can actually go through blocks. And I know that sounds like crazy OP. And I guess it could be in certain situations. But basically, when you have a blocking hero, you're up against Darth Maul blocking, you're up against Vader, you're up against Count Dooku. Any blocking lightsaber hero, he can just dash towards them and it goes right through the block. They take all the damage. And if you have the star card that does the 3 extra dashes, you're going to be doing a ton of damage to them, even when they're blocking. So let's say you finally get this hero to low health, an HPV or something, and they're just blocking forever. Finish them off with those 3 dashes. They go right through the blocks. Just 1, 2, 3, dead. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe. This is the Great Jedi, and may the Force be with you always.